Some of you have convinced yourself that the reason you're not making a bigger impact is because you don't have the right position. You don't have the right title. You don't have the office. You don't have the platform. You don't have the authority. But what if that's not the problem? What if the problem is not your position? What if it's your presence? Because I've seen people with titles that couldn't lead a conversation. And I've seen people with no title at all who completely changed the atmosphere when they walked into a room. That's presence. And presence has very little to do with position. Position can be given, presence is developed. Position is what appears on an organizational chart. Presence is what people feel when you show up. And somewhere along the way, many women started believing that they needed permission before they could lead. Permission from a boss, permission from an organization, permission from a title, permission from people who may just never give it. So they wait. They wait to be promoted, wait to be recognized, wait to be chosen, wait to be invited, wait to be validated. And while they're waiting, life keeps moving. Opportunities keep passing, rooms keep forming, conversations keep happening, and they're still waiting for someone else to tell them who they already are. But leadership doesn't begin when someone hands you a title. Leadership begins when you decide to take responsibility for your influence, right where you are. Because whether you realize it or not, people already are responding to your presence. They're responding to your consistency, your attitude, your standards, your integrity, your energy, the way you handle pressure, the way you solve problems, the way you treat people when there's nothing to gain. All of that communicates something. All of that influences people. All of that, my friend, is leadership. And that's why two people can have the exact same title and create completely different outcomes. One has position, one has presence. One manages authority, the other carries influence. And influence will always travel farther than authority. Because people may comply with authority, but they will willingly follow influence. So if you've been telling yourself, when I get promoted, when I get the position, when I get the opportunity, I want to challenge that thinking, because the question may not be, what position do I need? The question may be, who am I becoming before the position arrives? Because if your presence doesn't grow, the position won't solve the problem. It will only expose it. And if your presence does grow, the position eventually becomes a formality, because people already know who you are. They've already experienced your leadership. They've already felt your presence. The title simply catches up to what you've already become. So stop waiting for a position to validate what God has already placed inside of you. Instead, develop your presence, strengthen your character, increase your influence, and lead where you are. Because the problem may not be your position. It may just be your presence. I'm glad you're here.